I know a special place, a certain corner of the country where the fishing is pretty good. A place with deep lakes and surf-pounded beaches, marsh-lined estuaries and lazy forest streams, roaring ocean rips and small secluded ponds. A place called New England. I'm Tom Richardson. Join me as we explore the region's diverse fishing destinations, chase its many species, and forge new fishing adventures on New England Fishing. The Adirondacks of upstate New York have long fascinated sportsmen. Dating back to the early 1800s and aided in no small part by writers and painters of the day. Winslow Homer captured the region's natural beauty and authentic characters in his evocative watercolors. James Fenimore Cooper penned romantic novels set amid its untamed forests. And S.H. Hammond thrilled outdoorsmen with his true-life tales of hunting and fishing adventures in what would later become Adirondack State Park. All of this lore and legend was on my mind as I drove to the Adirondacks in mid-fall, a splendid time to visit upstate New York. My goal was to sample as many of the local fishing options as possible, which are considerable. The only problem? I had to do it in a single day. Fortunately, I had some help.
Man,
Hey, great to see you.
hey, wow, hey, called out the good weather.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Excellent, man. Right, and the river's just right down there.
Yeah, welcome to the Au Sable. We can take a trip down and get geared up and hopefully get some fish today.
Awesome, let's do it.
Assisting me in my quest was Jason Cole, the property and marina manager of Ampersand Bay Resort and Boat Club on Saranac Lake. Jason is also an avid and experienced fisherman, which may have explained why he was willing to partake in my overly optimistic mission.
So the river fishing, fly fishing, is actually a new venture for me. It's only been about 3 years now that I've been doing it. A really close friend of mine turned me onto it, and always been a little skeptical about getting the motions down and thinking I'm going to get the hook in the back of the head. Only happened twice, so that's not bad. But really serene, you know, you're out there knee deep, ankle deep, in the water. You're kind of with nature out there, and it's just it's a peaceful experience. So it's one of those occasions where it doesn't really matter if you catch fish or don't. It's just a really cool sport, and there's a lot of history behind it. It's a nice thing.
We had decided that our first stop would be the west branch of the Au Sable River, which flows from the Adirondack Mountains to Lake Champlain. It's home to several species of trout, including rainbow and brown, as well as landlocked salmon in its lower section. After rigging our fly rods and donning waders, we set off on a short hike through the woods and down to the river itself, which fulfilled its reputation for stunning scenery.
Yeah, famous Au Sable River, huh?
Here it is.
Oh my goodness, it's just as beautiful as I read about.
It looks like we have it to ourselves today. Yeah, it's looking really nice.
Yeah, this is great, and so this whole section here will all hold trout.
Absolutely. So we have a couple species that we're going to be targeting today, brown trout and rainbow trout. The off chance a brook trout will come in is not out of the question. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off in this area here. We can traverse up and back and find a little bit of different pocket water if it's not working, but this is where we're going to start.
Okay.
I'm set up with a woolly bugger. I think you chose a streamer to start this out.
I did. That's and we'll just start off with that and see what happens, and then if it's not working out, we just mix it up. Maybe go to, like you said, an emerger.
Absolutely.
Or nymph even maybe.
We're at the tail end end of the caddis hatch, so I mean that'll be really nice. We'll be able to maybe incorporate that in some shallower spots, and like you said, if we want to nymph a little bit, hopefully not. But
Now, how late into the season can you catch fish on the Au Sable?
we're getting close. I'd come out maybe a couple weeks, 3 weeks more, and I'm going to start changing.
Like early November?
Early November
like
is really when it's going to start to slow down.
Simply casting a fly over celebrated waters can be a rewarding experience, but it doesn't mean you'll catch fish. As lovely as the Au Sable looked on the fall day we fished it, conditions were not ideal. Recent rains had produced high off-color water, and by noon, the picture-perfect river had yet to produce a picture-perfect trout. So we faced a difficult decision: continue fishing the river or make a bold move and try for stillwater species. We rolled the dice and opted for the latter. Within the hour, we were launching our 16-foot tracker at the ramp at Ampersand Bay Resort. The mood had shifted ever so subtly. I sensed a renewed confidence in Jason, now clearly in his element. We would catch fish.
The challenging thing about fishing here, I guess it's getting to know the terrain, getting to know the contours of the lake. Having spent the last 25 years in Florida, that's a totally different ball game. So talking to the locals, getting the fishing spots down, trial and error, finding out maybe patterns on weather and where they're going to be, what depth they're at. It has been a challenge, but it's a challenge that's really paid off. It's a lot of fun. You get your sweet spots. You know, people want the intel, and you'll give them what you want to give them, but it's a lot of fun. It's great.
Anglers often underestimate the abbreviated length of an autumn day, and by the time Jason and I reached his first go-to spot, the western shore was already deeply shadowed. It was a dark, calm, and mysterious cove, and Jason assured me that certain large creatures were lurking in the surrounding weeds, waiting to pounce. Turns out, he was right.
Dangerous game to wait. Dangerous game.
Losing that big northern pike was a heartbreaker, especially given our time constraints. Every minute counted at this point, and that fish could have been our only shot at glory. Time was running out.
So when we were targeting the pike, we liked you were using this light setup. Tell us about this thing.
Sure. So this is totally workable, totally easy to work with. It's 24-ton graphite, light to medium light. We have it strung with 15-pound braid, 6-inch steel leader.
Yeah, the steel leader very important with the, actually critical with the pike, right?
Pivotal, and we saw that today.
Yeah.
The teeth coming out of the water are pretty impressive, and most of the time they're going to take this whole thing right into the mouth. So, you know, the bite point is usually 2 to 3 inches up the line. Some people can go longer, some shorter. 6-inch works for me. You don't lose any of the functionality of your lure. So we did go with a white-on-white spinnerbait, silver flashers, and a white tail spinner.
Yeah, the white seemed to do the trick. We were using a little darker color and weren't having much luck, but then we switched to all white, and then they got the nice fish.
Yeah, they got the point. So nice high visibility, and seemed to work really well.
And you said the flashing, since the pike are such visual feeders, the flash of those blades really makes a difference.
It draws. You know, the eyes are on the top of their head. They're sitting down there in the weeds. They're waiting for something to come by, wounded.
Yeah.
You know,
yep. And as far as the lighting conditions go, you like bright sunlight, middle of the day, that's preferred?
I love sunlight. So I mean, there's luck at any time of the day, but for me, going on a visual fish, I want light, I want flash, I want something close to the surface, skim right over the weeds.
And that's the great thing about these baits, that they just stay right in that like top foot of water, right just above right above the top of the weeds. And
so you've got your large single hook, but usually all your flare kind of covers that and lets it skim right through.
Yeah, awesome. And those pike are just sitting there, like just waiting in the weeds, right?
Just waiting.
Just camouflage.
And like you said earlier, you cast over the same fish 20 times, and you get that one spot. He sees it.
Something about it that just turns him on. Awesome.
After Jason lost that big pike at Boatside, we were starting to feel snake bit. But that's the beauty of fishing. The next cast can take you from zero to hero, and all is suddenly right with the world.
Not a 40-incher, but not a 40-incher, but definitely impressive. Yeah, that's a great on him. He's a nice one.
I know, man. It's freshwater barracuda, right?
Freshwater barracuda.
Wow, look at that. Woo! All right, Jason, hey.
Hosting me for my Adirondacks fishing adventure was Ampersand Bay Resort on the northeast end of Lower Saranac Lake. Ampersand is a 3-season resort comprising luxury townhomes, luxury suites, modern standalone cabins, and original rustic cottages, each with a full kitchen, outdoor grill, porch, and 2 or 3 spacious bedrooms. It's an ideal spot for a family getaway, with a sandy beach, central fire pit, volleyball net, boat rentals, and other amenities. Of course, you can also bring your own boat, kayak, or canoe. Saranac Lake Village, a short drive from the resort, is home to several restaurants and pubs, as well as numerous shops and a museum. You can also restock on tackle and other gear at Blue Line Sport. With a couple of northerns to our name, we left the cove and ran a short distance to a narrow channel where the depth plunged to 30 feet or so. Jason quickly deployed a pair of deep diving plugs, which we slow trolled through the channel, careful to keep the sun at our back.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
75% chance.
I'm telling you.
That's a nice fish.
Yeah.
Don't touch the drag.
I mean, you can tighten it up if you want, just a hair, but yeah, I mean,
That's a nice fish right there.
lure that double treble will get behind his gills.
Oh, that's a beauty. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah.
Woo! He's a hog.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe
He's not 6 pounds, but he's all of 4.
He's a fatty though.
Oh, jeepers, look at that. What a... You weren't kidding about that. That place is awesome.
And just like that, our fishing luck had changed. Well, it wasn't just luck, of course, because Jason certainly knew what he was doing when it came to targeting those Saranac Lake smallmouths. Each time we set out the deep diving plugs, we hooked big bass, sometimes 2 at a time. The key, however, was always trolling away from the setting sun.
Well, let's talk about the tackle for the smallies that we were using. Now, this was a little bit more specialized because you know that they're down there in the 30-foot depth. And tell us about that rig.
Sure. So this is a medium rod, one piece, 24-ton graphite, same thing. I have an Abu Revo S on this. What we chose to go with is a Rapala tail dancer, model 11.
Sorry, that's the same line though, same kind of test line.
15-pound braid,
Yep.
6-inch steel leader. You never know what you're going to hook up with. Pike troll the same territory. We were targeting bass at this point. So it's a Rapala 11 tail dancer, perch pattern replica. So it's got a 30-foot lip on it. So when we're going down that deep, you know there's going to be a lot of force in the lure. You know there's going to be a lot of force in the rod, and especially when you hook up with a fish, even more so. So we went with a little bit heavier rod only because of the depth that we were going for, and it really paid off.
Yeah, it sure did. I'll tell you, they were down there in big numbers. Actually, we saw some rolling on the surface. It was almost like seemed like a school of bait fish, like smelt or whatever came through, and they were just start rolling all over the place.
Well, they were sizable. They were good. They were good bass. We actually have a little damage to the bottom there that it looked like it was pulling the hook through. So they were they were fighting with all of it. You had a couple nice ones.
Oh, I'll tell you, man, that's some quality fish.
That's a fish. That's a fish. Set him a little bit. There you go.
He's gonna come up again. Here he goes. Here he goes. Ready? Oh, nice!
Gosh,
He's bigger than the first one.
Bigger than the first one.
He looks like a freaking drum.
Jason, oh man,
Wow.
thank you for putting me on these guys, man.
Good job.
Wow, Lake Saranac Smallies. Look at that.
Impressive.
Quality fish indeed. I'll never forget that remarkable evening on Saranac Lake with huge smallmouths coming aboard one after the other. We had pulled it off thanks to Jason's expert knowledge of the lake and its fish, and yes, perhaps a little fishing luck as well.
Well, that's a wrap on another action-packed episode of New England Fishing. To learn more about fishing in this great part of the world,
Be sure to check out newenglandfishingtv.com. The site is filled with great articles, videos, gear and boat reviews, fishing news, and much more. And don't forget to order your copy of New England Fishing Magazine, a big, bold, glossy publication packed with informative how-to articles that will help you catch more and bigger fish all season long. Until next time, I'm Tom Richardson for New England Fishing. Thanks for watching.